Hi, this is Jennifer from Positively Learning, and today we are talking about a very important topic, especially if you are helping an early reader. Maybe it's within your family, or you're an early elementary school teacher, special educator, or reading. I want to also tackle a huge misconception that you may have experienced. I definitely did my first year, my second year. I actually held on to it a little bit longer than I wish I had. And it's all about our early readers who are demonstrating mastery. They are doing a awesome job reading short vowel words, specifically CVC words. CVC stands for consonant, vowel, consonant spelling patterns. And this is very common, like the word cat and dog and pet. And my students were doing such a great job of CBC words. I was really excited. I could put a word in front of them, they could read it. It was just awesome until we moved to long vowel sounds. I just assumed that success was going to transfer right over. And I was surprised. Not only did it not transfer over, it also impacted what I thought was their mastery of CVC words. So they were starting to get them all mixed up. Their CVC words, if they were at, let's say, 90% mastery, that was dropping. Transferring over to long vowel sounds, not happening at all. So I had to figure this out. And this happened often. Hopefully, it hasn't happened to you. I have experienced it quite a bit. My background is special education, teaching in both the inclusion classroom setting and full out resource groups. And those resources were, or the resource groups were organized around IEP goals. Most of them happen to be early literacy goals like phonics and sight words and reading and comprehension. There was also some math in there as well. So I needed to figure out what this was. And I did write a blog post, and I wanted to also just share some teaching tips as we go through it. I'll be sure to link to this blog post below. And so if you want to go back and see a little bit more details. All right, so here are my students. They are reading CVC words like a boss. They are doing an amazing job. I do bring in a long vowel spelling. And the way our curriculum worked is that we would tackle the spelling with a final E sound. I think you might have heard it called silent E or magic E. It's where you have a long vowel and a silent E at the end of the word. And so I just scrolled to this example. Cap is the CVC word, that's a short vowel, or cape. You hear that long A sound, and there's a silent E spelling at the end. So we're demonstrating mastery in CVC words. We bring out those silent E words, and it all kind of crumbles on us. And I don't know why. Now, if I had those two words next to each other, they might read cap for both words, cape for both words. Actually, I'm going to be honest, they are not reading cape, but they are getting them mixed up for sure. So, what are you going to do? What would you do if you were in that situation? And it wasn't just one student, it was a couple of students. And this has happened before. So, what would you do to tackle that? The way I would handle things when it was a bit of a mystery is I would look back at prerequisites. What was going on before we added the silent E? Okay, well, we know that already. We were working with the short vowel sound, the CBC spelling pattern. I thought that was mastered, but it sure wasn't, because it wouldn't have been lost so quick if my students were really understanding. They were doing well with it, but it wasn't really solid. So, what was happening before the CVC spellings? Or maybe it was individual letter sounds and so on. But if I would continue to dig a little deeper, going backwards, we'd see a prerequisite in listening to the sounds and identifying the sounds, not even worrying about these letters, but just focusing in on the sound of the vowels. And often when we do that, it might be like little sound games. Like, do you hear ah or a? One was a short A, one was a long A vowel sound. And my students would be like, oh, it's long. Oh, it's short. Oh, that's easy. And we tend to go Not saying you did this, but I sure did. We tend to go a little bit fast because our students are doing awesome. It's kind of like playing word games and sound games, and they're doing so well. And let's keep going. Let's build on the success. But I am here to caution if you are seeing students kind of hit this wall when those new skills appear, that means that they still need a little bit more time to master. And we don't want to just do the same thing over and over for repetition. Repetition is good, but my students needed a little bit more. So what I did is I took away the print and I focused just on the sounds. So this is the chart that's on the blog post. I want to go through it right now, but also be sure to click the link and go check it out. One thing I wanted to do was just take the vowel sounds out of the word. Like the example is short A, then the long A sound. Can we hear the difference? If the answer is yes, we can go on to number 2. If the answer is no, that's okay. We're just going to continue practicing it. Okay, so we've done the short A sound, we did the long A sound. Students are really able to tell the difference. I have mixed it up, turned it around, and they are still able to hear that big difference. That's great. Now we're ready for number 2. We're going to take them back into the words, but we're not bringing out the print yet. So remember that example, cap and cape? Well, there's tons of examples of words like that. They're real words, and they have, when you add the silent E, there's a big switch in the vowel. I have the example here in the pink box, kit and kite. You might have man and main. There's a bunch of them. I have a list. Okay, so now we're seeing if students can notice the difference. Again, the print is not here. This is a phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is all about the sounds. This should be easy. We want it to be easy. If it's not, this is where we're going to stay and practice hearing that difference. All right, we've done number 1. We've done number 2. We have evidence that our students are really solid with these skills. Now we go back to number 3. You can see what I did before. I skipped number 3. I didn't even try number 1 or 2. I just thought, okay, if they have cap, then adding that E, no big deal. We switch the vowel, we've got it. Definitely. I was more approaching it from a visual standpoint. Do you see the E at the end? What does it do? It changes the vowel sound. And what I really needed to do was change it to more of a sound standpoint or hearing the difference. That is going to make that understanding click. Okay, so number 3 is we do take what we've done in number 1 and number 2 with those different vowel sounds and we put it back into the print using the correct vowel sound. And we're not going to just stay on CVC. We're not going to just stay on silent E spelling. We are going to be mixing them up and really exaggerating that vowel sound so that my students can hear it. That's me modeling. And that they're in the habit of listening to the vowel sound as they are reading. Okay, so this really worked. Please do not skip steps 1 and 2. We skip them because they seem easy. We don't do that on purpose. It's just our students are doing well. Why would we stay on it, right? I don't think any of us has extra time. But even if it's easy, please don't skip it. Okay, and I do have lots of resources, and these are the types of activities I would do. See that vowel sort? I have a printable copy and a digital copy, and what I'm doing is I'm just having my students name a picture and listen to the sounds. There's no print at first. They're just naming and listening. So you can see that cute picture of a seal. We can hear a long E sound. We can see a picture of a cat. Okay, let's model stretching it out. At, ah. Yep, that's a short A. And that's how I would model it and then let my students have turns as well. I also have some print copies and some digital copies, and there's a seesaw activity as well. Now, I would start with all the pictures, and then when they've got the pictures, things are going well, everybody's feeling good about this, then I would move to the text and then give them more practice with it. All right, if you have any questions about helping the readers that you are working with, please feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, and be sure to subscribe because I am going to be back here sharing other secrets and tips and tricks that I have learned throughout the years. All right, take care.